recording!
Yay! Welcome to the highest quality episode of Oddities. Because I also
Woohoo!
am not using my microphone. I did it in solidarity with you, so we could just suck equally.
I love you for that. The world's best co-host
That's
sitting
friendship.
before me.
Well, I'm not gonna. Let's just. Hold on, everybody. Hi, hello, welcome back to Oddities. Let me get my shit together. I'm Cassie.
And I'm Kellie.
And welcome back to Strange Town. And follow us on social media. All the shit's in the description. And check out our merch. We've got fun new merch. That's also in the description. We make it so convenient for you guys. Also, if
All you gotta do is click and follow.
That's it. And do what you need to do. That's it. Isn't that so nice? And then also, we have an email. That's in the description too. If you want to send us any topics or personal stories, you could do that. You could also always message us on social media too, because we check that regularly, and a lot of you do it that way, and that's very cool as well. We're not picky. Doesn't matter how we get the shit, as long as we get the shit. High quality commentary
Content
there.
right here.
Yep. And so, how are you doing? How are you feeling? We have sad news for everybody.
I got the COVID again.
And this is bananas to me because you are, like, aside from us, you are the most careful person I know about this. So it's like...
I'm a literal recluse. That's where I'm like, wait a minute.
It's just amazing to me that this happened.
Yeah, I guess the COVID stick just liked me.
I guess
Hit me
so.
again.
I guess
But
so.
I'm about almost a week post-testing positive, and I'm feeling a lot more human now. And I tested negative this morning, so I'm feeling even better.
Whoop, whoop.
Unfortunately, my kiddos are sick, so of course I feel better, and now I just gotta take on role of caregiver again.
Here, we're back. We're back.
Never stops turning. There you go.
They'll be fine. They will be okay.
Oh yeah, they're doing great already, so. But that I am okay. I will be fine. I will prevail.
Yeah, you will. It's true. You will. And so anyway, that's why our audio today is the highest quality audio there ever was. It's because Kellie is recording from a different setup than she usually uses. Usually your setup is like more professional than my shit is. So
Well, that's because I have a husband who is just so deep into D&D and playing online that benefits.
I love that for you guys. That's awesome.
Yes, but that's me, and that's how I'm doing. How are you? How was your week?
I am fine. My week was hectic. My new job has been a lot. I'm still coming up to speed on stuff there, and school started back up, and this semester started with a fucking bang. So I think I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not, but like...
No, we talked about the shit show last week, about like just before school started for you.
Okay, well here's a real kicker. So like... So then school starts on Monday. Everybody, like, continuing from last week. And I try to log in online, and the one course wasn't accessible, and I was like, okay, maybe they're just late opening it. So I try the second day, and it's still not accessible. So then I start fucking lighting fires under everybody's ass I can think of. The student coordinator, I had the registrar's office, financial aid office, I had IT. I'm fucking on the phone for hours over this shit. They finally get me access on the third day, so we're halfway through the first week of the semester at this point. And I start accessing shit. But it's like not totally complete information. So in the syllabus, the professor had her work email address, and she was like, if you have questions, write to me here. So I wrote to her. And she responds by saying, I'm not teaching at Johns Hopkins anymore. And I'm like... Say what? I'm like, yes, you are. Your course is open and there's info in there. And so then I go back to everybody that I was just fucking done with and thanking them for their help and everything else. And I'm like, by the way, guys, I don't know if you know this, but she's not teaching at the school anymore. So then I get an email from the director of the student like services, and he's like, you don't worry, everybody, we found a new professor for your course. And it's like, well, that's fucking great. So that guy finally Finally logged in, populated it with his information, and now my I feel like now school is really going to start. It was just like such a bizarre week. And you know why? You know why all this shit happened? Mercury retrograde starts in 5 days. And so we're in the
Yep.
pre shadow or something like that, or whatever the fuck it's called. So all the shit's already starting.
And both of you and I both know how much Mercury retrograde loves us.
I actually legitimately have started to get anxiety like around when it's like I know it's coming up because I know things are just going to be bad for like the next month.
Yeah.
And that sucks. So,
I remember specifically last year, the year that you were planning your wedding,
yes.
everything revolved around retrograde.
Oh my god, I was so when we picked our date and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to look and see is this actually like," and I was like, "Oh, thank god. Oh, it's all over." I was like,
We're good.
"Oh my god." Yeah, so anyway, that's my world. And it's Labor Day weekend when we're recording this, even though it's the start of, well, in my opinion, spooky season already started. But this is early October when this comes out. Spooky season.
Pumpkin spice lattes have been released. Spooky season has emerged.
It's spookala o'clock. So, anyway, it's Labor Day weekend. Yesterday, Corey and I made martinis and drunk played Nancy Drew. So that was a blast from the past and a hell of a good time.
Also, like, just talk about some solid couple bonding right there.
I know. I know. Labor Day weekend 2022, baby. And today we did a bunch of housework this morning and shit, and I got some shit in order on my side, and now I'm recording with you. We were thinking about maybe going to a state park today, but it's like very hot here. I mean, it's not to the same degree that you're experiencing, but it's quite hot, so I think maybe we won't do that.
If any of our listeners in Southern California, they know the heat wave that we're having right now, and it is not okay.
Yeah,
It's
that's very much not cool for you guys. And that's finally it on my side. I've gone on for far too long.
nope. I think we're on a good time right now compared to last week.
Yeah, we're only at like 7 minutes right now. Last week we were up to like a 12, I think, when we finally were like, let's
Yeah.
party.
Well, that's what happens when we take a 2 week break.
I know, we just had so much to share. There's nothing wrong with that. This is what you all signed up for. So, suck
Enjoy.
it. Yeah. And, right. So we're officially kicking off the spooka season here on Oddities, even though it's
Yes, we
honestly, it's
are.
just spooky year round for us. But in my mind, this is like the most wonderful time of the year, you know?
But it is. It is.
It really is. So I think we both have like legends a little bit for today. I don't really
Yeah.
know what yours. Okay. Do
Mine's a
you?
legend. Some say it's a true story. It's kind of a gray area.
Okay, and mine is a well-known legend, but like I've also taken it in a little bit of a different direction.
Love
So,
that.
what do we want to do here? You want to take us away? How's your energy level? Are we riding
Oh,
the
why don't
peak?
you? My energy level's really good, but if you want to go ahead and go first, because I went first last week.
God bless you for always remembering who went first last time.
I don't know how I remember it though, so
You,
just
you,
throwing that out there.
you just pulled that out so easily. You're like, because you went first last week. Well, you just knew it. No problem. Top of mind, baby. So, all right, yes, I will start us. I'm covering none other than the legend of Sleepy Hollow. I have to be honest with you and our listeners. When I say the legend of Sleepy Hollow, I picture the Disney version, and the key part that I remember of it is when fucking Ichabod Dumbass Crane is at the fucking hoedown or whatever, and he's trying to have a hard-boiled fucking egg, and he pours a shitload of salt on it. That is the only thing that comes to mind. Why? I don't know, but that is like my core memory associated with the legend of Sleepy Hollow.
I love that though.
It's just like, why? So anyway, everybody knows kind of the legend itself and how it comes about every Halloween. We've had like a gazillion and one renditions of this in film. Have you ever seen the Johnny Depp one? That one's pretty good. Yeah. Is that? That's not Christina Ricci with him. Is it? It might be. I don't know. Anyway, regardless, it all comes off of Washington Irving's 1820 tale of a headless horseman. I didn't realize it was that old. Like I didn't know it went as far back as the 1800s. So
I didn't know that either.
if you guys have been living under a rock and you don't know this tale, essentially it's this headless horseman who just like terrorizes the real life village of Sleepy Hollow. And it's considered to be one of America's first like ghost stories and one of the scariest. And Sleepy Hollow, by the by, is not very far. Like it's like an hour and change drive, maybe like an hour and a half from where I lived when I was in New Jersey. It's adorable. It's like right on the river. It's so cute. I want to go spend some like true time there, but anyway, Irving actually wasn't the person who invented this idea of a headless rider. Tales of a headless horseman can actually be traced as far back as the Middle Ages, including stories from the Brothers Grimm, of course, much later, and then the Dutch and Irish legend of the Dullahan, or Gan Ceann, which I fucked that up, I guarantee it. But it's a Grim Reaper-like rider who carries his head. That's fucked up.
Oh.
I love that, though. So there is this historian. Her name's Elizabeth Bradley. She's a historian at the historic Hudson Valley, and she says a likely source for Irving's horseman can be found in Sir Walter Scott's 1796 The Chase, which is a translation of the German poem The Wild Huntsman by somebody named Gottfried Berger. Which is cool.
What a name.
I know. And it's actually likely based on Norse mythology, which is wild. So basically, Irving had just met and become friends with this Scott guy in 1817. And so people seem to feel that he was likely influenced by this like mentor's work. And so the poem that this guy wrote is about a wicked hunter who is doomed to be hunted forever by the devil and the dogs of hell as punishment for his crimes. And then, according to the New York Historical Society, others feel that Irving was inspired by an actual Hessian soldier who was decapitated by a cannonball during the Battle of White Plains around Halloween 1776. What a fucking way to go. I mean, you're just there, like, doing your thing, and then a cannonball, and there goes your head. Like, whoa.
What a wild moment.
I know, right? So Washington Irving's story takes place in, like I said, the New York village of Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, that's in Westchester County. In it, this like lanky, weird-looking dude comes. He's the new schoolmaster. It's Ichabod Crane, which, by the way, the name, but that's fine. Ichabod, I don't like that name. It bothers me. Anyway, he courts this chick, Katrina von Tassel, and she's like this young heiress, and she's also being pursued by the Dutchman Brom Bones. And then, like, I guess, like, after being rebuffed by Katrina at a party at the Van Tassel farm, where, like, these ghost stories are being shared, Ichabod's then chased by this headless horseman, who may or may not be his rival, who hurls a pumpkin at the dude, and then throws Ichabod from his horse. And then Ichabod disappears. And we're like, holy shit, where'd he go? So then, people are also saying, okay, looking at this whole story, Irving may have drawn inspiration for his story while he was a teenager in the Tarrytown region of New York. He moved to the area in 1798 to flee a yellow fever outbreak in New York City, according to the New York Historical Society. And he would have been introduced to local ghost stories and lore at a pretty impressionable age. So he, like, if you look at his work, he kind of weaves together factual locations, like the old Dutch church and churchyard, Major Andre's tree, and some, like, actual true family names like Van Tassel and also Ichabod Crane, with a little bit of Revolutionary War history. And then he also works in just pure imagination and fantasy. And so it's basically this melting pot of a story. And therefore, a lot of historians credit it as being just this, like, totally American representation of what the fuck was going on at the time, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. So a professor at National University who specializes in Gothic studies says the Headless Horseman, as a supernatural entity, represents a past that never dies but always haunts the living. So that's like a very artsy take on the whole thing, but I kind of like that.
I like the way that is said. I don't know.
I know, it's spookalabookala.
Yeah,
So,
it is very spookalabookla.
you know, when you think about it, the Headless Horseman, like, seeks revenge, supposedly. And also he's looking for his head, I guess. But anyway, he thinks the head was unfairly taken from him. And so this injustice demands that he, like, basically continuously searches for a substitute. And then the horseman, like the past, is seeking these answers, seeks retribution, can't rest, and so we're all haunted by this past that stalks us and we can never forget it, basically. So that's dark. Then, if you look at it for like folklore mixing with history, when it comes to the character of Ichabod Crane, the New York Times reported that an actual Colonel Ichabod B. Crane was a contemporary of Irving who enlisted in the Marines in 1809 and served for 45 years, but there is no evidence that the two ever met, according to a newspaper. So I don't know if, like, maybe Irving came across a name and was like, that's a cool name for this weird fucking schoolmaster thing that I'm going to throw in my shit, but whatever. And then some historians argue that since it's kind of like America's first ghost story, it's endured because it accommodates the changing American imagination. So like these historians say that it inspires people because it reminds them that there are still some American mysteries left out there and these like half-truths that might not ever really truly be known. And that's like the whole point behind it. And the legend lends itself to any interpretation. So it continues to fascinate and basically spook us in one of the best ways possible. And that is the legend of Sleepy Hollow and the Headless Horseman and kind of where the fuck all this shit came from, theoretically.
That's really interesting because that's not what I would have thought of with sleep. Hearing the name Sleepy Hollow, I just think of like a scary hollow of trees.
Yeah, for sure. Also the Disney film. They made it spooky. Yeah. They really did. They weren't fucking around with that one.
Nope.
And Ichabod Crane had this very interesting. Like, huge nose, and then he had a massive Adam's apple. Those are like two other... I don't know. Everything that I remember centers around Ichabod Crane and me being like really disturbed by him as a child.
He scarred you.
Yeah, he did.
That's why you don't like the name.
That's it. He did me in. So that's what I got. I think it's an interesting interpretation, and I like the idea of people being like, well, actually, when you think about it, the Headless Horseman is just like the past just constantly haunting us. And I'm like, ooh, it's spooky, you know?
I mean, very true and spooky.
Yeah, it is. And then it's also interesting that they were able to find some ties to like actual history, like that Hessian soldier whose fucking head got blown off, and you're like, holy shit, you know?
And it makes sense.
It does. Like, I get it. And like, if you look at the Headless Horseman figure and he's like supposedly looking around for his head that was like unfairly taken from him, you're like, well, yeah, I guess I would too.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be looking for my body part if it got blown off.
Yeah, like you kind of need that thing. So anyway, that's the legend of Spookalabookala Sleepy Hollow.
Spookalabookala Sleepy Hollow.
The legend of
it's renamed now.
Sleepala Hollowa.
Well, thank you for sharing.
But of Cuervo, it was a fun time to research it.
Yeah, I had a fun time researching mine too, and actually I've like had it done since I think literally Sunday night last week.
I'm excited. I have never heard of this.
So like I did this to be ironic in a way, but I'm covering Crybaby Hollow.
Which is funny because Ichabod Crane is such a pussy in the movie, so I love it.
So there you go.
It works.
Located in Hurtsville area of Alabama, there's a story of Crybaby Hollow. Or as most seem to call it, Crybaby Bridge. Oh. This bridge is located along a popular running path covered in a hollow of trees.
It's spookala, yeah.
Yeah. The photos that I saw of this, I'm like, nope, that's not giving me happy vibes.
Honestly, like, why would people choose there to run? But that's okay.
They get maybe it's the thrill. You'll see.
Yeah, maybe the adrenaline kicks in and then they make a really good time when they're running.
Right? So, the legend says, when you run over the bridge, you may hear the cries of a baby. But as you look around, you won't find one. There are many stories surrounding why people hear the cries of the baby. Some tell a tragic story of a mother throwing her baby over the bridge. Others say the baby fell out of a wagon and simply rolled into the water.
Jesus! In either way, that's fucked up. Either case is wild.
And then there are some crazy tall tales. One stating that it wouldn't be a proper Southern haunted spot without being a Civil War related story.
That sounds right. That sounds on brand to me.
So some people say the Union soldiers killed the baby's mother, and then to show mercy to the baby to prevent it from starving to death, they killed the baby too.
Oh shit! Wow.
So that's like the tallest tale of it.
Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah, the infant's cry is often heard at night, and it's said if you leave candy bar on the Crybaby Hollow Bridge, there will be a bite missing when you return.
I can relate to that. Like, if I mean, honestly,
Yeah, and apparently this is quite the popular spot. People try to go see something or hear something, and there are a lot of candy wrappers around the bridge. Don't litter, people.
yeah, guys, clean up your shit. How long do you have to like
Be
put
respectful.
yeah, how long do you put the candy bar out? I wonder before theoretically there will be a bite missing.
Well, and see, what I find interesting is like you have to leave it at night.
It's
Why at
only
night?
once candy at night. At midnight snack energy, you know.
Yeah. A lot of people say that Crybaby Hollow, it's not the cries of the baby that you're hearing, it's the cries of the mother looking for the baby.
Oh.
And then this dove into a lot of bridges across the US are known as the Crybaby Bridge. And it's just a
Oh.
legend of hearing babies cry when you run over a bridge or drive or walk or visit or whatever it may be.
See.
And
Okay.
so Crybaby Hollow is specific to Alabama, but apparently this is a widespread legend of babies and bridges, which is just tragic when you think about it,
Yeah, what are we
and very
doing?
spooky. And also, there is something very, very spooky about, you know, running and hearing a baby cry. Hearing babies cry, period, when you should not be hearing babies cry,
Oh yeah, for
is
sure.
terrifying.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? I right away my mind goes to the idea of like, okay, well maybe it's something about the bridge's structure or like the hollow of the trees and shit and like wind or whatever, and that's when people hear the baby cry. It has to do with like maybe the bridge is aging a little bit or like
Right?
yeah, or like and if this is a phenomenon that's supposedly occurring like across the country, and I'm like I'd be wondering if like if all the bridges are made from like a similar material and like when they were made, and so like in my mind it's like okay, it's probably some sort of just like architectural or like natural phenomenon that's occurring and making people think that's what they're hearing. But
I don't know.
you
It's
never know.
spooky. And you know what? Personally, spooky things happen in the South. Spooky things happen everywhere, but it seems like the South has some
Yeah.
extra spooky shit.
The
And you
South
know what?
and New England. It's like those are like the spooky areas.
And I'm wondering, is this Civil War related?
I mean, maybe it is Civil War related. Also, like, though, if the soldiers actually did that shit, that's like fucked up, guys. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You
Very
know,
uncool. Why would
not
you?
very
And
much
it's like
uncool.
the way that they make it sound to give the baby mercy from starving to death.
It's like, is that what we
Could have
would
taken them
call
to
it?
church. There
Yeah,
was safe havens back then too, just saying.
like, so would we really call it that? I don't think so, guys. That's that's spooky.
So, yeah, it is spooky. And I guess a lot of like this area is known for rituals.
Oh, good. Here we come. Yes.
Yeah, people often love to bring their Ouija boards
Hell
down to the
yeah.
bridge to try to find out the name of the baby.
All right, first of all,
I
though, if you're asking a baby what its name is, it's a baby. It can't tell you. Why the fuck? Ask the
I was
mom.
just getting into that. This is a very popular spot for people to try to connect with spirits.
Mm.
And there's pentagrams painted
Oh my
around
god.
the area as well. There's offerings for the mother and child, or maybe just child, to be able to pass on and
Hmm.
stop spooking people. Um, and others just simply say, do not go down there.
Interesting. So not only are we leaving litter around because of the candy bars, now we're also painting shit on shit, and we're also leaving other shit around. What are we
Yeah,
doing?
do better, people.
Guys, if you want to go hang out with your Ouija boards or whatever, that's fine, but pick up your shit afterwards.
Don't leave a trace.
Yes.
Come on.
Come on now. That's interesting. And it's interesting that like it's kind of developed this sort of like cult following, I feel like, where people are just like go and do this shit.
Yeah, it's definitely what I was reading. I'm like, so because you heard a baby cry, you're doing some culty shit. That's interesting.
That's a
That's not
great.
the road I would have taken, but okay.
Okay, yeah, sure. Wow. I wonder how like on any given night, I wonder how crowded it is with people trying to do this shit.
Right?
Oh, pardon
And I want
me.
to know the age ranges. Is it just like, teenagers screwing around? Is it adults really trying to have a spiritual connection with the victim? There's a lot of questions.
Maybe we should go. It's gonna be like us
Let's
and
just add it to the list.
teenagers. Hello, fellow children.
If I see a teenager and then just trash everywhere, I'm gonna start yelling at them in my mom voice.
If
Pick up your
anybody,
shit.
if anybody's leaving candy bars behind and they're uneaten, I'm probably gonna eat them.
My blood sugar's low. Swoop.
I need this.
And I guess that was shorter than I realized, but that is the legend of Crybaby Hollow.
Wow, so we had a couple spooky. This is like big legend energy today. I love this.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to start off our Spookala Bookala season.
Yeah, it's spooka season, everybody. Happy spooka season. So for Crybaby Hollow, I mean, what do you believe? Do you think it's just some bullshit thing that's going on because the bridge is old, like I do, or do you think it's a baby or the mom? If I'm gonna go with either of those things crying, I'm gonna go with the mom crying.
I think it's the mom crying, if anything.
Yeah.
Um, but like the hollow of the trees and the
Yeah.
bridge, like I would believe that nature around me is making a spookala bookala noise.
Yeah, and if you go anywhere
You
at
know,
night and like theoretically alone and there's not a million people there or whatever, your mind is instantly gonna start picking up on some weird shit. Like, well,
your subconscious can do some really effed up shit to you when you are paranoid.
big time. Like I remember in our last house we lived in, I mean, you guys have kind of heard me talk about this before. Like it was quite a rural area and stuff. And like if I went outside at night with the dogs or whatever, like my mind would play games on me and be like, well, this shit's spooky, guys. Do your business. We need to get the fuck inside.
Hurry it up and we're going in. Don't mess around.
Mama doesn't have time for this bullshit that's going on out here. Like,
And you know what? Like, we've had some spooky stuff out here too, because we have like an acre of land. And Michael has heard like meowing,
mm-hmm.
and he's convinced the meowing is right outside his office window. And he'll go look, and then he'll hear nothing, but then he'll hear meowing off in a distance. And his brain instantly goes to skin crawlers
Oh,
because that's
gross.
the kind of
But I
area we
love
live in.
that. How far are you from, wait, Skinwalker Ranch is, what state is that? Is that Utah? Why am I thinking Utah? I don't know why, but like,
I'm not sure what state it is, but Skinwalkers, so his grandparents live in this area. And when
uh-huh.
he was a kid, they used to tell him spooky crap like this.
Holy shit. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Poor Michael. I mean, I don't blame him. My ass would be like, yeah, it's Skinwalkers for sure. But they're meowing bullshit. Whatever.
They're trying to lure me with a kitten. How dare they?
Assholes. They know my weakness.
Rude.
So rude. Oh, well, that's, so like, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I hear something like that, and then immediately, as soon as you were like, and there's stories of other, like, crybaby bridges throughout the U.S. or whatever, I was like, okay. Methinks it's something architectural or something along those lines where
Right?
this weird shit's happening. I mean, I have walked across plenty of bridges, and, like, they make squeaky, weird noises. Like, it happens. I get it. Or, like, it's
Bridges
creaky.
are old. Things happen.
Things do happen, especially if it's wooden, or like even if it's metal and like the metal is starting to get like a little rusty or whatever. Like, I mean, crazy shit happens.
Yeah.
Moral of the story: everybody stop going there and fucking leaving wrappers around and painting shit on shit and whatever else you're doing. Enough.
Yep, that's it. Be nice to the environment, damn it.
Be nice to the environment, everybody. So here are our key takeaways: Ichabod Crane sucks and he's a little pansy bitch. And number 2, Crybaby Hollow, in my mind, I think debunked personally. But I do like the whole story. I mean I don't love the story around it with like they're like and the baby rolled
The
out of the
tragedy.
wagon and like or like the mom tossed the it's like holy shit. But I love
if I
a
had to
good
pick if any of those stories were true, I think I would just go with the baby rolled out of the wagon.
yeah, let's go with that one. That one's like I mean it's terrible, but like nobody meant
It's less
to hurt the
tragic.
baby. Yeah, like, just, like terrible accidents do
It's less
happen.
at at the hands of somebody else.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but anyway, let us know what you guys think. Let us know if by any chance you happen to live in an area where there is some sort of like crybaby bridge or whatever. I know like there seems to be like a couple of trends in Spookala Bookala history where it's like either this woman in white who had some kind of a tragedy or it's something with babies along this line. And I wonder why, like why it is like stories like that get picked up all over the place, like what it is.
Yeah. That's something to dive deep into.
I know, because everybody's heard of this shit before. Like, even out where we were before this house, there was not far from us, there was this supposed bend in the road where if you drive there at night, you're going to see this woman in white and she's going to, like, fuck up your shit. Direct quote. That's the legend.
Love that it rhymed. If you drive somewhere at night, this woman in white. That just rolled off the tongue.
When you're good, That's...
Just like, damn, she did that without trying, y'all.
That's what we do. But anyway, everybody, happy official spooky season. Very exciting.
Enjoy the spooky, spooky, spooky season.
Hopefully by the time this comes out, it's actually cold out and it's no longer like almost 100.
I want sweaters, damn it.
Yeah, I know, seriously. Our grass is all dead anyway, so it might as well be the fall at this point.
Your grass wants it to be fall already.
Yeah, I mean, our grass straight up just looks like hay. It's so dead. It's like the deadest.
Oh no.
It's bad, but it's not just us. It's the whole neighborhood, so I feel a little better. We're not just this like brown patch.
Okay, it's always better when the rest of the neighbor matches.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's shit is dead, and I think we've all just collectively given up. We're like, well, this is it.
Here it is.
Here. Corey mowed today, and I was like, you're probably not gonna have to mow again. Like everything's dead, and then it's gonna be fall, so it's over. Like,
yep.
Gotta love it. Anyway, everybody, now that we've gone off on a tangent here at the end, until next time,
stay strange.
I didn't even give you an option. I just did it. I was like,
nope.
You're doing it this time.
But it felt good.
Surprise, bitch.